The number one question I get from most of my buyer and seller clients is when is the best time to buy or sell? Jeremy Knight, the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. This question I get so much, and you know what? You can't necessarily time the market, but based on some things we have seen in the market, I do think there is a way to kind of time your buying and selling, and we're going to talk about that today. And right now we see such little inventory that it's hard for buyers to buy and sellers are cashing in. But at a certain point, and I will talk about this, it's going to level off for sellers. I also want to talk about the market in general because I just met with the chief economic advisor with Untitled, David Tandy, and we went through and talked about what's happening in the market and really broke down some things that I've been talking about on this channel and some things that I wasn't paying attention to on this channel. So we're going to talk about both of those things. For all of you that commented on my last video of me walking around talking about a little more positivity, I really appreciate that. And for all of you that did write negative comments on that, look, I appreciate that. Constructive criticism is always needed. And so I definitely love that. So drop comments below. I really do appreciate you. I do want to thank you all again for being with me on this channel. What's really important to look at is most buyers are saying, well, how do I time it where I'm not paying crazy interest rates? Now, interest rates are expected to go to 4.4%. If you're looking at interest rates now, they're in the 4% range. So they are going to keep going up. And that's impacting affordability. It's impacting a lot of different things. And part of the problem that we're seeing right now is this poll I put up on my YouTube channel, and a lot of people are using prices as the reason why they're not buying right now. But that's a double-edged sword because that means people that would be listing their home to move up are not doing that because they think that next price is out of reach and partly has to do with interest rates. What's interesting enough is Case Shiller, the Shiller of Case Shiller, had put out a graph saying there's no correlation between prices and interest rates, and he put out this graph. I think there is some correlation because if we look at prices last year, there was two things in play last year, and that was low inventory and then low interest rates, and a lot of people had money in their pockets. In fact, consumers have more money in their pockets, and it's the pent-up demand for being shut down during 2020 is why they have so much pent-up demand. And so that's one of the things why consumer confidence is down. Consumer spending is not. And so that's partly why we're seeing prices increase, especially in the Austin area. I mean, look, the Austin area, we still have a lot of businesses. And if you pay attention to my Instagram page, I'm putting out more short content on there about the business and companies moving here and what's going on. So definitely follow my Instagram channel where we put a lot of that information that doesn't make the YouTube channel on there. So what these buyers are facing is a low inventory. Now, sellers or potential sellers, and the ones I have right now that have recently listed, all saw huge over list price offers. We have buyers that are giving full appraisal waivers on our listings. We have buyers that are paying for title policy. So buyers, back in the day, you could get closing costs from the seller. Now you're paying the seller's closing costs in this market and guaranteeing that you'll make up the appraisal gap. And I just had this on one of my listings. The appraisal came in short. So really the beginning of the year is tough for buyers too, because you're seeing appraisal gaps where the prices really haven't caught up to things. And so we're seeing low appraisals, and that happens usually at the beginning of the year. Sellers are cashing in right now. At a certain point, it's going to kind of go the other direction, and we'll talk about this. Now, it all comes down to the inventory. Even this week right here, I thought we'd see more inventory. We're the last week of February. We're going into March. March is a weird month. If you're going to buy, I definitely recommend buying in March, and that's not to get you to buy. But what I'm saying is March is one of those weird months, especially in Austin, where we have South by Southwest, which is going to have the first time back. So people are out doing that. Now people can get actually out of town. And so you're seeing people go on vacations. So you're going to see a lot of people out of town in March. So if you're a buyer, I would absolutely look at the March timeframe, especially with future interest rates going up. Now, if you're a seller, one thing to keep in mind is that if you look at last year, we saw a huge price increase pretty much through June, which means really you had to put your house on the market by May. But here's what's really interesting about that is as we saw this trend, if you look at this, what I post on my Instagram channel, the amount of inventory rose throughout the year. I anticipate we're going to see inventory rising this year, maybe not as quick and as fast as we saw 2021, but it will follow this same trend. And that's where we saw prices start dropping back down in October. So if you're a buyer, I would heavily recommend you look at March. And if you're going to be waiting for a while. We don't know where interest rates are going to go, but I definitely look towards the August timeframe. I do think you probably will spend about $70,000 or $80,000 more for a home by then if you're looking at the 2021 chart, what I have right here. But you will be spending more in that time frame. And if you're a seller and you're trying to get your home on the market in July, expect that prices will probably start dropping. Now, the whole Ukraine stuff could impact the market, but based on what I talked about with David Tandy, and I'll do a full breakdown of what we did, I just don't see prices really decreasing in the Austin area, and a lot of that has to do with the inventory of new construction. I know a lot of people think new construction is going to have all this inventory. I'm telling you, I had stuff that was supposed to close in November with a buyer, and it's not going to be done until maybe the end of March. We're hoping the end of March. Here's the other thing that really sucks about that is that if you're renting in that time frame, your rent costs are going up. Rent costs are going up like crazy. So it's almost the same to buy a home as to rent. It's getting pretty close. So that's another reason why people are looking at just buying even in this crazy market. But as we see the inventory increase, sellers keep in mind that those pricing's probably not going to keep on that same angle line. It's going to come back down. So if you are a seller, definitely reach out to me, but let's look at getting you on the market before May. Now, staying on inventory, here's what's really important to look at. Obviously, affordability is an issue, which means that homeowners aren't selling their homes and moving up, right? That's a problem. Some buyers are sitting on the sideline waiting for prices to level off. But here's what's really, really important and why I say if you're a seller, you might want to start looking at selling earlier in the year this year, is that the property tax valuations are going to come out in late April, May. So if you're getting your property tax valuation, you're like, all right, I am done. I can't afford this. Maybe you're an investor and you're like, I just can't afford this anymore. I'm not going to get the rental rates. But if you hold on as an investor, I think your rental rates will keep going up. I mean, we're seeing the headlines everywhere that rental rates are increasing. But what's really important is that these property tax valuations are going to come out, and I'm going to tell you, the tax district, every time I deal with the tax district, it was even funny as Ian had somebody from the appraisal district on his channel, and they got in trouble for being on his channel. So they don't even want to come on our channels and talk about what's going on behind the scenes, but they are going to try to raise taxes as high as they can this year. And it's up to you as a homeowner to protest those valuations. So if you're a buyer and you're going to see this year all these huge property tax valuations, plus you're going to see interest rates higher, it's going to be harder for you to purchase. But that doesn't mean we're going to see a ton of inventory where it drops down prices significantly and crashes our market. But if you're one of those homeowners and sees the taxes raise and say, you know what, I got to get out of this house, and you put your house in the market June, July, you're going to start seeing a lot of inventory, and you're maybe not get all the sweet, juicy stuff you're getting now. So it might be better if you are a seller to sell earlier while there's no inventory. Now let's talk about the builder inventory again. Builder inventory is just not going to be there. I know people think it will be, and I know people are hearing from other channels that all this builder inventory is coming. These builders are trying as hard as they can, and every person I talk to that's having a build is having an issue with cabinets. They're having an issue with appliances. I have a client right now that is literally going to move into a home with 0 appliances in it, signed a waiver saying, fine, I just want my damn house. So this is what we're going to see, and these supply issues aren't getting better. Obviously, we're in the middle of a conflict right now, so I don't see supply chain getting better. Prices on everything are going up. There is a leveling that's going to happen, right? I don't know when that is, but I can tell you if I'm looking at the trends from 2021, 2019, it's going to be June, July timeframe where we start seeing this leveling and kind of correcting in our market. What do you think? Jeremy Knight, the Night Group, your favorite Austin realtor. I feel like I went on a ramble on this one, but drop a comment below. I want to hear from you.